Hello, everybody. This is a special edition of Political Paula, and if I sound a little upset, I am. I'm very upset. This is a breaking news story, and it actually happened on December 30th. Many of you may have heard about that beautiful little 7-year-old innocent child in Houston, Texas, that was shot in her car, where she was in the car with her mother and her, I think, 2 or 3 other sisters. Okay? You've heard the story, I'm sure. You heard everybody come out and say this was a hate crime because all the people in the car that lived described the shooter as a white guy with blue eyes and wearing a hoodie. His picture was posted all over the news. White guy, blue eyes. He actually looked like somebody I actually know. But of course I knew he wasn't in Houston, so I knew it wasn't him. But this was a white guy, blue eyes, and right away the black community said it's a hate crime. They were shot because they were black. Do you all remember the Susan Smith story? Do you remember when Susan Smith, a white girl from Carolina, decided that her new boyfriend didn't want kids, so she decided to kill the 2 that she was blessed with? She pushed the car into the lake and drowned them, and then claimed that 2 black guys carjacked her and murdered her babies. Remember that? Remember how everybody in the black community lost their minds? How dare this white bitch accuse 2 black men? Everybody in Carolina was searching for these 2 black men. She gave sketches too. And she was treated like a victim. Poor Susan, her babies were murdered by these evil black people. And then we found out it was all a lie. And that the only true victims in the Susan Smith case were those 2 innocent little babies who were pushed into that lake alive and drowned in their car seats. And the sketches of anybody, any black man, they were victims too, because black men were being hauled in all over the place during the Susan Smith case, till they realized that this evil woman killed her own children and then blamed 2 black guys. Now, let's look at this Jasmine case. Anybody who tries to make this show or call me a racist for what I'm about to say, you really don't know me at all. First of all, I am no racist. Okay? I treat everyone equally. Blacks, gays, straight, Muslim, everybody is welcome at my table, always, as long as you mind your damn manners. But I will tell you as a white woman, this case pisses me off, because if I had a son, or God forbid my husband, looked like this white dude and we lived in Houston, we'd be hiding out. Well, guess who actually shot into the car and murdered little Jasmine? 2 black guys. Now, are you going to tell me that this woman, this mother driving the car, and the 2 other girls in the car do not know the difference between a white guy with blue eyes and a black guy with brown eyes? I think they know the difference between white and black people. And yet, all of the witnesses in the car said it was a white guy with blue eyes. That was a lie. The entire black community, including Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee from Texas, came out, called it a hate crime. We're going to ask for the death penalty. This is a hate crime. Vigils everywhere. Oh, the poor victims, the poor victims. And now I want to read to you Sheila Jackson Lee's comment when asked if maybe they jumped to conclusions when calling this a hate crime. When I will submit to you, I actually believe, after reading the articles about this crime, I believe it was a crime. It wasn't random, first of all. And I believe that's going to come out later. And I think this was a crime about drugs, because the shooter, who is also black, by the way, not white, no blue eyes, looks nothing like the sketch the 3 witnesses gave to police. He's a drug dealer. He has drug offenses on his sheet. Now, some are saying this might have been a case of mistaken identity. Well, we'll see, won't we? We'll see if, like Susan Smith, maybe this mother isn't quite the victim she wants everybody to believe she is. And if I'm wrong, I will apologize for that in advance. But something ain't right with this story, guys. 3 black women in a car, old enough to identify the person who shot at them. All 3 say the same story, white guy with blue eyes, and the actual people that were arrested, and one confessed, by the way. We already have a confession from the driver. Yeah, I drove the car. They're both black. And how you can make that kind of mistake, even in panic, you can't decide if someone's black or white. I don't understand that. But here is how Sheila Jackson Lee explained it, because now people are starting to ask a lot of questions. And answers will come, because the police will do their jobs, investigators will do their jobs, and the truth will come out. And at the end of the day, please, please do not put your thumbs out and start attacking me. That beautiful little girl was innocent. She did nothing wrong, and she's dead. The reason why she is dead, we don't know. We don't know. We don't know if it was mistaken identity, if they were in the wrong place at the wrong time, if these people were hyped up on drugs and shot into the wrong car, they thought it was a different car, or if there's something else to be learned. At the end of the day, little Jasmine is the real, and in my opinion right now, only victim of this crime, other than the poor white dude with blue eyes in the hoodie that has had his picture all over America for the last 10 days with a $100,000 reward for his capture. That's pretty scary when you're being accused of a hate crime and you had nothing to do with it. So let me just read to you the explanation, though. Sheila Jackson Lee was asked, because she supports the family wholeheartedly, and you know, are you sorry that you came out so early and said this was a white on black hate crime? And here's her response, which confuses me a little. Nothing is irresponsible when a precious 7 or 8-year-old child is killed. I wish I had been a reporter at that news conference when she made that statement, because I would have raised my hand and said, Miss Jackson Lee, what if this child had been white? And a white person had shot into the car and killed her? What if she had been white and a black person had shot into the car and killed her? Would you have been out here for my family if it had been my white child who was killed? And I don't give a shit if my child's killed by a white person or a black person. My kid's killed, I would expect to be supported by my congresswoman. And even though you might not be able to call it a hate crime, it's crime. My child is dead. And if I didn't do anything wrong and I had no reason to be shot at and my kid is dead, you should support me. And it shouldn't matter if I'm white, my child's white, the shooter's white, or if I'm white, the shooter's white, my child's black, or if the victim is black and the shooter is black. It shouldn't matter. This child is dead. But when a white child is killed, America, come on, you know how it works. When a white kid is killed, it's never called a hate crime unless they're gay. When a black person kills a white kid, it's not a hate crime. Everything in this country is about race. Susan Smith thought in Carolina she could get away with murdering her children if she blamed black people for killing them. How sad is that? How many black people in this country have been wrongfully convicted, along with white people, by the way? This forced racism that people bring up for no reason whatsoever. Right away, a black child is killed in her car in Texas, and it's got to be a white guy who did it. And then it's got to be a hate crime. Well, I can't wait, and I'm going to follow this story extremely closely. And just for discussion and for disclosure, I'm taping this show at 3:30 on January the 8th. Because I want to make sure that if something breaks tonight on Nightly News, which often, as my friend Chris Adams says, I'm usually prolific. Sometimes I say something on a show and the next day it's on the news. I want to make sure you all know that I recorded this show before Nightly News on January the 8th. So if something is breaking right now, I don't know about it. I'm just telling you there is more to this story than meets the eye. And we're going to find out who the real victims were in this case, who the intended targets were in this case. And we already have one confession from a black guy. So when someone says, white dude shot me, well, we got two black guys in custody, and the prosecutors are pretty sure they're the ones who did it. And I think these victims need to answer some questions about why they were so quick to give a sketch and name a white dude with blue eyes in a hoodie, when that obviously wasn't the case. And I think we need to ask those questions very quickly before somewhere in Texas, a white guy with blue eyes is ripped out of his red pickup truck and beaten to death or beaten to a pulp in Jasmine's honor. And it could happen. That's the scary thing about jumping to conclusions or even believing witness statements when the investigation is just starting. Everybody wants Jasmine's killer brought to justice, but we want the right killer brought to justice, don't we? Or does it have to be a white guy? See, this is what bothers me. This is what keeps me up at night. I am a white woman, and never in my wildest dreams would I falsely accuse a black person, a Hispanic person, someone who looks different than me of committing a crime against me if they didn't do it. That's one thing I could never do, is falsely accuse someone of a crime that could cost them their lives. Susan Smith did it. Remember this. This is not new in this country. It's so easy to blame the black guy. So why should we think it's not just as easy, if you're black, to just blame the white guy? Please, if you're going to send me comments, make them respectful, make them on point, and do not call me a racist. That's one thing I am not. But I am really sick and tired of everything in this country being about race. I'm sick of it. I didn't get the job because I'm black. I didn't win the election because I'm black. You know what? This proves I'm not a racist because, see, I don't see black and white when I vote. I don't see black and white if I'm interviewing someone for a job. I see talent. I see a resume. I see experience. I see someone who's trustworthy, someone I feel comfortable with. That's how I pick and choose who is in my life, my friends. That is how people should be hiring people and putting people into college. It shouldn't be about the color of your skin, who you love, where you come from, what religion you practice. Nobody should get special treatment because of something about them they were born with that they can't change. You should get the job. You should get the college placement because you're the best, because you worked for it. And no one has a right to deny you that place because of the things I just listed. But you certainly shouldn't get a place if you don't deserve it because of those things either. And you know, this situation in Houston, I'm agitated. I'm angry. Because it scares me. And I can't even imagine how much it scares parents of white kids, of white people, wives of white people. If now we're going to have black people falsely accusing white people of killing innocent children for whatever reason, and it'll come out. It will come out. I promise you, it will. I think these investigators in Houston know something's not right, and they're going to continue to look at it. But I did not like Miss Jackson Lee's response. That it's okay to call something a hate crime and to put out a picture of a white guy. And even the guy, by the way, who put up the reward. He's got his own talk show or whatever, and he's now questioning the whole thing. He's like, something ain't right. You know, I'm rescinding the reward. There's no more reward out for this white dude with blue eyes because he's not a suspect anymore. He didn't do it. And now he's starting to think, wow, what did I do? What could I have unleashed? We could have had another victim here. The white dude with the blue eyes and the hoodie in the red pickup truck. We could have had another victim. Another innocent victim. And I'm sorry. I don't care if you do want to get mad at me, but I think black people know what white people look like. And I think they know the difference between a white dude and a black dude. And I think these women who are mourning the loss of their daughter and their sister need to be questioned again. And very thoroughly. And if I got to question them, the one question I would ask is, are you telling me that living in America as black females, you don't know the difference between a black guy and a white guy? I'd like to hear the answer to that question, especially from the younger girls. The mother has her story down. She's probably not going to change her story, but for whatever reason. And we need to find out her reasoning, too, for lying and coaching her daughters to lie. And I will tell you this, and I will say it right here on the air on January 8th. If it turns out that anything I said on this show was a mistake, that there was a white guy with blue eyes and a hoodie involved in the shooting, I will come on here and I will apologize. But once again, there's something not right. And we all know it. We knew it with the Susan Smith case. We knew it with the Scott Peterson case, when everybody was treating him like a victim, when his pregnant wife went missing on Christmas Eve. And it was like, oh, homeless people in the neighborhood, they probably did it. Or there's a cult that are kidnapping pregnant women to steal their babies. Remember all that shit? Everyone was looking for these vans and these homeless people. And it turned out the husband did it. As it usually turns out when a pregnant woman is killed, it's the husband or the boyfriend. That case where the woman went missing at Thanksgiving. We all knew it was going to be the fiancé who killed her, the father of her daughter. We knew it. We knew it. I knew it the first day they said it. It's the fiancé. And it's the fiancé. So again, it's a very sad case. And at the end of the day, I would like to dedicate this show not just to the memory of little 7-year-old Jasmine, who used to wear the purple t-shirt that said, "Live, laugh, love." She did not deserve what she got on December 30th for sure. And whether what happened to her is the fault of being in the wrong place at the wrong time, or something her family was involved in that she had nothing to do with or knew nothing about, she's still dead. She's not with us anymore. And she was a bright light in this place we call Earth. and she will be missed by her classmates, by her family. She didn't deserve what she got, just like most of the young, innocent victims who are killed every day by guns, with drugs, through no fault of their own, find themselves in the crosshairs, being hit by bullets that aren't meant for little children. They're meant for deer. They're meant for soldiers, not for our little kids. So this show is dedicated to Jasmine and all the other children who have needlessly lost their lives already this year in 2019 and in last year where we had so many. Our babies are precious. They're meant to be outside playing and running and romping and feeling safe in their own cars and feeling safe with their parents, feeling safe with their families, feeling safe when they go to bed at night, when they go to school in the morning. And sadly, that's something we can't offer them anymore. Remember this and think about it. Those precious little bodies. We try to feed them well and nourish them, and maybe the last time we see them is when they've got a bullet in their head, or they're riddled with bullets, like what happened in Newtown, where children were shot multiple times, little kindergartners. Those babies' bodies aren't meant to carry bullets, or to take bullets, or to take one for the team. They're not soldiers, they're babies. They're children. They have their whole lifetime to become soldiers. Can't we just let them be children? So God bless you, Jasmine, and God bless those who are investigating your case. I hope you get real justice, and the people who actually killed you, everyone who was involved, even if it includes members of your own family, I hope that they are brought to justice and are made to pay for your senseless and untimely death. Political Paula, out.